beep, beep. We've got a microphone. And now all that needs to happen is some game noise. Aha! So finally then, we will be able to go racing once we know that the Simufair server is live. Welcome to the penultimate round of the Simufair GT3 Season 4 Championship. We are going to be live tonight at Paul Ricard. Paul Ricard. So let's hop onto the server, let's see where we're at. And let's hope we get some phenomenal liveries loaded in. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. It's good to see all of you back joining us for another race of the Simufair Championship. We're finally over that hump that is the third race, the middle of the season, and now we continue to go down to the final round of our main GT3 series. Estimated about 40 drivers to turn up tonight.
Green light, go, go, go.
Here we go, about 40 drivers to turn up tonight. You can see in the shot there, that is Tom Bryan in the Lamborghini. Nope, in the Writer, or Rex as we know it. So we shall get on board with some more cars and have another look round in a minute, because we've got some new people joining us tonight. In fact, actually, we can have a look at another one of them now. We have Stewie, RCI's very own Stewie, in the 796 Porsche. Yes, we did spend a couple of weeks getting past round 3, but we all got there. It's all done, and we're definitely here now. Bear with me a few moments, guys, whilst I fire up the broadcasting tool that has been my literal right-hand man ever since we started the series. And that way we really will have lights, camera and action. Bear with me a couple of seconds here whilst we get all that fired up. Once we get all that fired up, bear with me 1 second. There appears to have been a brief pause on the stream. That's probably due to more drivers loading in. We do only have 29 drivers so far, so we should hopefully have everybody on board, but in terms of doing anything about the freezing, there's not much we can do, I'm afraid. The liveries have all been loaded as far as I'm aware. We can have a look now at Grim, and it doesn't appear to have loaded Grim's in. I'm pretty sure we loaded it right. Oh, we get another freeze then, as Tom Bryan gets affected quite badly by the joining of someone. Hopefully he's not too badly shaken up after that. Unsure what's gone on there with Grim's livery, but nevertheless he's still here, he's still on the track. So that's all good. Some liveries loading in quite nicely. We've got Ferox in the Nissan there he is. So that one's loaded up. We've got, a bit of an incident going on with a couple of drivers there. Got Sarah here sat in the pits as well. She's back for the penultimate round. Thank you for sharing that information. That is a shame that his car is still grey, although it's a different colour from last week when he was pure white. So there is a change in the livery, of course. Got two of the KM drivers sat right next to each other as well. Here we go, look. We've got Jin here in the green. What is that? Oh. Jin here in the green and yellow and black livery of the Honda NSX. We've got Sarah here as well. Also in, excuse me, also in very nicely coloured pink and white Honda NSX, we have Eris back for another go at it in the Lexus. And we've got Sergo here as well for Arcanine Racing in the 176 Ferrari. There he goes. Deeds is back as well in his 757 Ferrari. We have the 43 McLaren of, I cannot see the name, I believe that is Ruby Kitsune Fox. It is, that is Ruby Kitsune Fox. And here we have the number 2 of telephones in the Mercedes AMG. Excuse me, one moment. Let's go back down the grid a little bit more, see who we've got there. Ferox in the black and red GTR for another round. Back down to Geeg in the 41 Audi. There he is. Back for another round. Newbie Nick in the number 17 Mercedes-Benz. This is actually their what is it? RCI's EWC Challenge car. He's here with the full livery tonight. There we are. And you can see that racing on the grid of RCI. Here is the 101 of Hemi Husky. It's interesting, that livery loaded in really well. It loaded in last week for us as well. It's a very colourful livery indeed. So there we go. Back down the grid. And we've got another look at Stewie's car actually. Now it's Stewie's stopped for a bit. The 796 Porsche. Really colourful livery it is as well. Oh, and he's about to go out. See if any more people have stopped. Not just yet. More people have stopped, but what we can do is use the opportunity to check out some more cars on the grid. So we've got Jinfilf out there. Cammers in the number 97 Audi. It's an interesting choice, but he's back again for another go at it. So welcome back to Cammers in the number 97 Audi. ZZ in the number 18 Porsche here. Ever famous black and yellow Porsche. Another GTR driver actually is Saber, the number 523 of Saber. There he is. Let's see who else we've got going here. So we've seen Ruby, that's the one that we saw earlier. Got Dip out here as well in the 38 Jaguar. Not to be confused with Denak, of course. Back in his original livery that was designed by Skylar Vixen. Listen to the noise of that. Jeez, oh. That's one reason you'd want to drive the Jag, purely for the sheer sound of it. Blue E Motorsports have turned up as well. I believe all three of their cars are here. Oh, Wolfen's pulled over. Is he in the pits? He is in the pits. So we've got Wolfen's Wolfen's Lamborghini here. The number 529 Lamborghini. JPEG Fox as well, back in the Porsche. Number 120 Porsche. Very uniquely coloured livery it is there as well. And if he is streaming tonight, there he is. You can watch him on his Twitch channel, JPEG Fox. Who else have we not seen? It's the 759 of Hoot Wheels. Back for another go at it after surviving both attempts at Imola. It was great to see her back on track for another go at it. Seffi again in the pink and white 222 Aston Martin. Skylar Vixen in the 660. Oh, excuse me, 660 Honda. Forever stuck with. Oof, and as Murray Walker once said, I'm going to have to stop because I've got a lump in my throat. I'll be back in just a minute. Right, back to racing. I'm not crying, you are. It's just pepper in my eyes. It's whatever excuse it is to get out of the fact that I clearly had to stop for a minute there. So there's Skylar in the 660 Honda for KM Racing. Who have we not seen yet? We saw quite a few people in the pits. We've seen Tom Bryan take a little bit of a flight in the Reiter. There he is in the number 3. Anka, we briefly touched on. Well, actually, I haven't on the stream, but I did see them again in the. In the practice server. That is car number 40. It's here somewhere on. It's here somewhere on his car. Car number 40 is Anka, back to this penultimate round in the BMW M4. Chris McNichol for KM, another driver of the Audi. The number 632 Audi. Car. Yeah, sorry, the number 632 Audi, driven by Chris McNichol. Hopefully he's going to have a good night tonight in this penultimate round. Tai Chi back for another go in the number 32 BMW M4. Hopefully he can continue on a positive stream up. We've got Slowbird coming into shot there in the number 89 Jaguar. Let's see if we can catch her while she goes out. Here we go, so she's going out now. And as you can see, and also here, that famous Jaguar noise of. Here we go. So the number 89 Jaguar back for the penultimate round at Paul Ricard tonight, and hopefully continues to come back when we go into our final round next week, which will be Indianapolis. So Maybe that must have been a bit of a shakedown. Who have we got? Who have we not covered? We've got Jasper Fox in the 223. It's not Jasper Fox. Keep doing that. It's not Jasper Fox. We've got Jasper MB in the 223 Ferrari. Oh, we will get there. I was even about to say Lamborghini, and that would have been a hell of a miss. So anyway, Jasper again in the Ferrari. Hopefully he can do well tonight at Paul Ricard. Or look at the straight line speed the Ferrari is managing to get to as well. That's something that a lot of the drivers have been actively talking about through the week, is just how quickly can their cars go before they have to take this upcoming corner here. For Jasper, that was a 278, and he's made it very successfully round the corner. He's not invalid yet, so that was very good straight line speed from Jasper. Oh, got a bit of an off from telephones there in sector... Oh, on the back straight. Never mind. Hopefully that was just a test lap and everything goes well for him later on then. Back again for another go is Azure Goat in the 765 McLaren 720. Unsure if he has changed the livery or not, but it is definitely a good looking livery. We, for those that know him, Azure's quite into creating liveries out of the current Ridge Racer cars, so there is his one. He'll be looking at getting a good result here tonight. Oh, they must have popped in when I didn't see them. There is Suzuka in the number 10 Lamborghini Huracan. Back for the penultimate round here at Paul Ricard. We have Suzuka here is part of, or rather owns and manages Blue E Motorsports. Hence why most of the cars have a bit of a blue theme about them. We've got Suzuka there in the number 10. Our next one, I believe we've seen him. The next one as part of Bluey, as well as Jasper in the blue and white Ferrari. And then of course we've got Wolfen in the blue and white Lamborghini Huracan. God, this gets more difficult by the minute as we continue on. We have... Oh, blimey, we've spent 20 minutes doing that, so we have about 40 minutes left. I'm going to take a quick break, quick 2-minute, 5-minute break, just get another drink, and then we will pick some people at random for some driver interviews. There are some people on the grid at the moment that we've not heard from yet, so I hope we get a good chance to give everybody a chance here. We've heard so far in the past races from pretty much all of KM as we went into the garage last week and spoke to all 11 drivers that had turned up for KM, so it was great to hear from them. We've heard from Suzuka as well on the first week. Heard from Suzuka as well. Heard from the likes of Hoot Wheels, Nate, Saber Kitsune, Sarah herself has said a few words. Jinfulf has said a few words when we went back in to see them in the KM garage. We've had Denak, who I'm not sure is here yet, but we've had Denak in having a word with us. Hopefully he makes an appearance tonight. We can't see him on the entry list at the moment. But still, he's got 40 minutes before he has to turn up. But yeah, I shall be right back in about 5 minutes, and then we'll get some drivers up into the commentary box and talking to us about how Paul Ricard's going. So thank you for tuning in just now. I'll be back in just a few moments. And welcome back. Apologies, was gone there for a little bit longer than I'd like to have been. However, let's see if we can grab some drivers. Let's see who, if any, are around. Obviously it is a little bit difficult to grab the drivers whilst they're in-game. But we'll see what we can do. We have asked one. We're not sure if she's got the message yet, but we'll stick about and see if she wants to come up. Put a message out to a couple of the drivers. Obviously, if we don't get any drivers, then we'll continue on as it is. Quite a few of the drivers have had a notification about popping up to speak to us, so we'll see if any of them respond for the moment. But our current fastest lap time at the moment is, in fact, Hemi Husky here in the 101 BMW. Currently sat on a 154. Currently sat on a 154.9. And hey Peggy, welcome to the chat. Bear with me a few minutes. So, as we've seen, Hemi Husky sat on a 154.9. Next one is Daly, I believe that is Jordan Daly here in the 197 Porsche. Sat on a 155.1. Fantastic to see a Porsche so high up, especially given the Paul Ricard straights that everybody's been going on about speed for. Down the back straight. Still no word at the moment from some of the drivers we have messaged. We may get to hear from some of them that we've spoken to in the past, so we could probably catch up with them about how their season's gone so far. 28 minutes left of free practice before we go on to our half an hour's worth of qualifying. Obviously, we'll try not to hold on for too much longer before we grab drivers. There are some drivers that definitely want to come up and speak to you lot tonight, so we will invite them up, 100%. And as we see Jordan Daly there, going round Slowbird as she goes a little bit wide to let him through. Onto the last turn before the start-finish straight, and past the pit lane entrance. Actually, this is going to be a different Going to be a bit of a different one for you guys to see because the pit entrance of Paul Ricard is on the start-finish straight, so it'll make it very interesting for drivers when they do come into the pits. Pits. Sorry, I realised that came out a little bit quickly there and sounded a little bit rude, my apologies. And we do have a driver currently lining up to come and speak to us. It will be the owner of Blue E Motorsports. Oh, almost clicked the wrong button and disconnected myself. That's going to be a good one. So it will be the owner of Blue E Motorsports in the number 10 Lamborghini Huracan. It's Suzuka. Hello, Suzuka.
Hello.
How has your season been then? We've had 4 races now, given one of them took 2 weeks. How's your race going, or how's your season going so far?
Well, to be honest, the first 3 rounds weren't what I was expecting. They were not my best performance, but round 4 in Imola, that's where I definitely came back, because the rainy race, I just had to keep it clean, and then I managed to finish in the top 10 and in the silver class podium, and I'm definitely hoping that it continues on towards this race.
Excellent. And how have you found the Lamborghini Huracan through the season?
Well, to be honest, it's a bit of a mixed feelings. You know, sometimes I couldn't find the pace in it. Sometimes it's just frustrating, but still, it's still a pretty fun car to drive.
And is it something you'd stick to going on through further championships, or have you another car in mind after this one?
To be honest, I'm really looking forward to the 296 GT3 when the 2023 cars come to ACC. But for now, we're probably finding some other cars that suit our style in the team.
I noticed it's 2 of you in the Lamborghini, but Jasper's in the Ferrari. What made Jasper go for the Ferrari over the Lamborghini, if you know?
Well, Jasper told us about the Ferrari's visibility because they use VR, so they definitely don't have the visibility that we in Hoodcam have.
So that's fair enough. Do you think he'll be looking to try a different car going on, or do you think he's pretty happy in the Ferrari?
I mean, we're all definitely looking forward to some change, especially with the 2023 cars and whatever we have in our store. But yeah.
And then finally, before I let you go, what's your absolute max straight line speed on the Mistral Straight tonight?
I was hoping that doesn't get shared, but I'm skirting at 280, just around 276 or 7, but then I wanted more stability in my car, so I'm pretty satisfied with it.
Excellent. Well, there we go, guys. That is Suzuka Shark back for another chat with us, four rounds in. Thank you very much, Suzuka, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And take care. So that was the number 10 of Suzuka in the Lamborghini Huracan, saying that he's getting on quite well with it, but might be possibly looking for a change going forward. So hopefully he does continue on with it. He seems to be doing relatively well, especially taking the silver podium last week. It's been very good to him so far, but we always welcome different drivers to try different cars as they progress through the GT3 championships with Simufair. And in ACC in general, we're aware that all the cars always change. So it's always nice to get something going, and it's always nice to get a new car to play with as such. Speaking of Jasper, who we mentioned earlier in Suzuka's interview, there he is again. Ooh, bit of a wobble there coming onto the Mistral Straight. And we did see Jasper's top line speed, so hopefully that can come into play. Getting a bit of a glitch again in ACC, where it seems to be showing drivers on a yellow flag coming out the pit lane. So hopefully that doesn't cause us too much disturbance. I see, why can't we get that shot every time we pick a car to look at in the pits? Look at that, look, we go from looking at Deeds, and then we switch to Ferox, and we get greeted with Tai Chi instead. So I wonder then, if we switch to Tai Chi, we get a further away shot of Tai Chi. We've got Nick out on the track there, we've got Snooty in the number 48 BMW M4. Back again in the 48 smash livery of the BMW M4, it's Snooty McFlude. Just going to take another quick look then, see if we've had any more drivers opt to come up and have a chat with us. I believe we have another one. Which will be Wolfin, so also from Blue E Motorsports. Same team as Suzuka, racing in a Lamborghini Huracan as well. What is that? There it is. I tell you what, let's do this before we get him into the commentary box. There you go. You can't really go wrong at that point when you've got a great shot of the car. So coming up to us now is the number 529 of the Lamborghini Huracan Blue E Motorsports. It's Wolfin. Hello, Wolfin.
Hello.
How's your season been going so far?
I mean, I can't honestly complain. It's been ups and downs, but overall the season's been pretty good to me so far.
And how are you personally finding the Lamborghini at Paul Ricard?
It was better than what I was originally expecting, but I will say there is some quirks, but overall, it's better than what I anticipated. Though I will admit, I do kind of miss my BMW in this in this race.
Which BMW was that? The M4 or the M6?
M4.
The M4.
The one I used, when I used it in AmChamp.
Okay, fair enough. And
yeah.
What straight line speed do you think you can get on the Mistral Straight?
I honestly, I could hit 280 if I'm really, really lucky. But I think I would say the best would be about a 277 or 278.
277, 278 to be safe, right? Coming into the...
Yeah. If everything goes averagely right, and I don't get really lucky.
Fair enough. And after this series is over, do you see yourself going back to the BMW, or do you want to try something different, maybe?
I have actually been torn. I might go back to the BMW, and I am also thinking about trying the McLaren for a season to see how I do with that. I've done a little bit of testing with the vehicle. It feels pretty good. So that might be my next choice for the next championship, whatever it may be.
And which McLaren do you think you'd go for? The older 650 or the brand new 720? Or newer 720?
I'll probably go with the 720.
720, fair enough. Well, we'll not keep you any longer. There's only 17 minutes left of practice. So we'll let you get back to your practice and on to what can hopefully be a successful qualifying and race for you. So thank you very much for coming up to speak to us.
No problem.
And that was... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say have a good one.
Thank you very much. That was the 529 Lamborghini Huracan driver, Wolfin Voxdale for Blue E Motorsports. And owner Suzuka speaking to us previously on that one. Gonna wait and see if any more drivers want to come up and speak to us at all, whether or not it's past drivers or that we've heard from already, or new drivers that want to come up and speak to us now. But as I've said, there's now 16 minutes left of free practice before we go into the oh, blimey. Nope, we're not getting that camera apparently. So 60 minutes before we go into free practice. Hemi Husky here in the 101, still holding on to that 54.9. Going slightly further down the grid, we catch someone else who's parked up in the pits. It's the number 18 of ZZ in the black and gold or black and yellow Porsche, whichever way you want to put it. See if he wants to come up, but we're unsure. Nevertheless, the invite has been opened to all the other drivers in the GT3 series to come up and speak to us. So not quite unable, excuse me, to get hold of ZZ at the moment. However, he has promised us a driver interview for Laguna Seca, since that is his absolute favourite track. And he wants to come up and speak to us next week and totally and utterly nerd out on it. So we will wait until next week for ZZ, when we can find out how he's handled the Porsche through the season. And see if he wants to tell us whether or not he'll decide to switch car, but we'll catch up with him on that next week. A driver we have also asked to come up is a lad that you can see on the screen now. It is JPEG in the number 120 Porsche. So another Porsche driver, a little bit further down the grid in the AM Championship. So it'll be nice to see how one of our AM drivers is coping in the Porsche as he comes into the pits now. Let's see if we had someone else. And we could also, if he's available to speak to us, possibly speak to Grim, our current silver runner in a Porsche, and maybe, just maybe, grab a Pro Porsche driver and see if we can compare all three drivers with what they say about their Porsches. So this lad at the moment, JPEG Fox, will see if he wants to come up and speak to us. Failing that, we'll try getting someone else. We may have to be a little bit quick about it though. There's 13 minutes left of free practice, and I imagine some of the drivers will want to get their final bits and bobs done for setting up the car before we go qualifying, during which you will see for the first 10 minutes the AM Championship drivers will be out to put in their laps, followed by the Silver Championship for the middle 10 minutes, and then the final 10 minutes will be taken up by our Pro drivers before we go into a 1 hour long race for the penultimate round of the GT3 Championship. We're unsure if JPEG's got the radio communication for an interview, so we'll give that probably another minute to see if he wants to go up. Failing that, we may possibly try grabbing Grim. And failing that, see if we can nab one of the pro class to come up and speak to us. Although, as you can see from the side of your grid, the vast majority of the pro class are in fact out and running laps at the moment. So a lot of work going in there from the pros. In fact, it's this lad, Stewie, our brand new driver to the grid tonight, that has managed to put in a 1:54.6 so far in practice times in the Porsche. That's a phenomenal lap. And from what we can see as well, he is actually looking to improve on it by 200th of a second, possibly even more as he comes off the Mistral straight. So here we go, current fastest man is Stewie, and we see Hoot getting out the way there very quickly as he comes through. Still actually on to beat his time as well. This is... oh, maybe not. He's coming across the start-finish straight now. Does he manage to beat his time? He doesn't. So he holds on to the 1:54.6 for now. But I can definitely tell you, looking at the deltas, that he is again on for a quicker lap. So good luck to Stewie for practice and qualifying when it gets there. Ah, someone brand new to the grid, turning up. You can hear it turning up in the V12 Aston Martin. He only made it onto the grid at the beginning of the week. It's Lorda. Listen to that Aston Martin go. I can guarantee you can hear that coming from anywhere on the track. If you can't hear it at the moment, you can hear it now as we focus there. This is... if you've seen it in real life, you'll know just exactly what it sounds like. This game doesn't really do it any justice. But you can hear the very unique sound that is the Aston Martin V12. So good luck to Lorda tonight, and hopefully he can show us what he's made of here at Paul Ricard for the penultimate round of the GT3 season. Nine minutes left of free practice, yet to grab another driver for an interview. So we've missed out there on the AM Championship, we've missed out there on the Silver Championship Porsche drivers. Let's... oh, joining us as well, it's a little bit late to the session, but 9 minutes left. It's Fez Fox. I've just seen him pop up there in the number 86 McLaren 720 Semi-Fair Academy livery. I lost me words there for a second there. That's good. He's come to defend his title. He is the current overall GT3 champion. However, snapping at his heels is this man, Hemi Husky. So we'll see what goes on tonight between these two. Looking for a pro Porsche driver to see if anybody is willing to come up and speak to us about the Porsche. Let's see. Let's see if we can get anyone else. We have tried for another driver. If we can't get this one, what we'll do is we'll leave it going into the last 5 minutes or so of qualifying. Even if we grab another driver only for a couple of minutes or so, we'll keep them as short a time possible just so they can get the most out of tonight. Having said that, couple of drivers have come up to speak to us. We know there's one definitely willing to come up and speak to us next week. But we'll see what happens. And here is the man that we have asked to come up and speak to us. As you can see, he's well on a lap, heading on to the Mistral Straight now. It's the 197 of Jordan Daly. Getting up to speeds so far of 270 and climbing. Is nearly bottomed out. It's 278 before he has to apply the brakes. Safely round the corner. Very daring from Jordan Daly indeed. So 278 kilometers an hour out of the Porsche. And there is the number 62 of the Honda NSX, which is Joker. Joker we heard from a couple of weeks ago, having a good season so far in this awesome Red Bull livery for the Honda number 62. Hopefully he continues to have a good time, especially on the penultimate round tonight at Paul Ricard. Okay, so that is 5 minutes left of free practice, and we will shut off the interviews for now, as the drivers will be doing their last bits of setup. Before we go into qualifying. Someone you can see there on the grid is Skylar Vixen in the 660. Very, very true to the Honda is Skylar. And we wish her all the best tonight at Paul Ricard. And with 4 minutes now left of practice, I'm going to go and get another drink. Believe it or not, I've managed to make it through my water in a short space of time. And I'm going to get another drink. We're going to be right back, where we come back for the AM Championship qualifying here out of this current 37 driver grid. So bear with me, folks. I'll be back in a moment. welcome back to the end of practice and very soon the beginning of qualifying for this penultimate round. That is the Paul Ricard season 4 of the GT3 class 4 semi-fair. Looking for a couple of people tonight. So defending their current AM Championship is the 176 of Dat Sergo, the RK9 car, Dat Sergo. He'll be looking to continue on his lead. For AM Championship. Silver Championship current leader is 115 Grim here. So hopefully we'll see what he can do tonight in the Porsche. And as mentioned earlier, we've got the number 86 of Fez Fox, who is the current overall championship leader. And looking at the championship as well, we have Hemi Husky in the 101, just 20 points behind Fez Fox. So we'll see what either of these drivers can do coming into the race tonight. Certainly have a look and see what the M6 can do in qualifying. I've heard it's extremely quick on that back straight, which is called the Mistral Straight, or the Minstrel Straight, or the Galaxy Straight, or the Milky Way Straight, or whatever you want straight. It's a straight section of the track. So here we go. The AM Championship will be away. And Geeg gets out first, followed by Skylar and Seffi. So we've got Geeg, followed by Skylar there. Oh, it wasn't Seffi that got out first, my apologies. It was, in fact, Zenak, I believe, in a very orange-looking Jaguar. There he is, number 54 Jaguar. Back to the old classic livery is Denak. Back to the somewhat classic looking livery is Denak in the number 54 Jaguar here in the AM Championship. Most of the AM Championship at the moment out on an outlap still, so we'll get to see sometimes. Got Tom Bryant here as well in the Lamborghini Huracan. Not Lamborghini Huracan, excuse me, the Writer. God, it's going all wrong tonight, isn't it? In the Writer, see what he can do at Paul Ricard, the only driver to sign up in the Writer. And as we pretty much get up to the start-finish straight, we will go on board with our current AM Championship leader, Sergo. He's just on Sector 3 now and will be heading into an opening qualifying lap. As he rounds the final few corners there onto the Mistral Straight, we'll go on board with him. And we'll see just exactly what he can do in the Ferrari. Good turn 1 so far into turn 2, and unfortunately invalidated. Oof. Can tell you certainly it's not a track you want to invalidate on. You've got a very long lap ahead of you to just think about just exactly what you did wrong Sergio will probably know exactly what he did wrong and be kicking himself for it. They've got 6 minutes left though. We've got the number 43 of Ruby Kitsune out on a lap, as well as she makes her way onto the Mistral Straight. So we'll see what Ruby can do instead in the McLaren 720, a car that Wolfin expressed interest in. So far, no times posted yet for the AM Championship, so we can report back in a bit and see who manages to get up there. But for now, we will stay on board with Ruby as she hits 275 kilometers before coming on to that very wide sweeping right hand corner. It's very easy to run wide on that corner. Ruby's not managed it yet, but here we go. She's on to sector 3 now. So far it is valid. Current time sits at a 1:35 as she comes around these very narrow sweeping corners into the final section then before the start finish straight. A little bit wide on that corner there. Bit slidey as well, but she's kept hold of it. And then onto the start finish straight now. She'll come across the line to put in a time of 2 minutes and 2 seconds and 225. Not bad at all for Ruby. However, Skylar Vixen is in there immediately with a 1:56.0. The current quickest lap out of the AM Championship. We've got Denak in second place with a 1:56.6. Tom Bryant answers in the Reiter with a 1:56.8. And we've got Wolfin currently on a 1:57.7. Geeg in the 41 Audi on a 1:57.5. Jinful for KM Academy sits on a 1:58.8. Seffi sits on a 1:59.9, being followed very closely there by JPEG, who sits on a 1:58.9 as well. So very close between these two cars. Both of them losing a little bit of time. Ceres takes P10 so far with a 1:59.3 before we get telephones in the number 2 with 2 minutes exactly, 417 split seconds. Zizi in the number 18 Porsche so far sits on a 2:01, but is currently working to improve his time by almost nearly a second. So we'll see what Zizi can do. Sergo, where is he? We're getting into 3 minutes left of AM Championship qualifying, and we are yet to see Sergo put in a lap. He is currently working on it, so he'll come across, and there we go. He answers straight away to the 1:55.9, our first ever 55 in the AM Championship so far. We'll see if Skylar can make that work out for her in the last 3 minutes left of qualifying before the Silver Championship is released, to see what they can do. Denak has been pushed down to 3rd place so far. Who else have we got on an improvement? We've got Wolfin here, who's plus or minus a second up on his current time, so it's going to be a 56 something maybe. And he goes across the line now. And unfortunately it's a 56.990, but it doesn't improve his position, which is a shame. Got Slowbird just in the background there, who pushes into 13th place with a 2 minutes exactly and 292 split seconds. Excellent attempt there from the 89 Jaguar. Ruby Kitsune still on a 2:02.225, so hopefully she can improve on that one, but it's looking like at the moment Dat Sergo is going to take the victory for AM Championship qualifying and take the pole position for that one. Needless to say, there's quite a few people on an invalid lap at the moment. There's no one really improving. Actually, no, wait, would tell a lie. We've got this lad here, Telephones, in the number 2 older machinery of the Mercedes AMG. 1.2 seconds currently up on his time as he comes off the Mistral Straight, round the sweeping right-hand corners. Still invalid, he's nearly a second and a half quicker than what he was going. So here he comes then into the final section before the start-finish straight. The number 2 Mercedes powering on. He's 1.3 seconds ahead of his time at the moment. It's going to be a 1:59. It's going to be a good 1:59, hopefully. P14 in the AM Championship he sits so far. There's 1.5 minutes left of qualifying. He comes on to the start finish straight now. 1.5 seconds quicker. He goes across the line to take the final top 10 position with a 1:58.877, but is answered immediately by Hoot Wheels, who's pushed up to 7th place with a 1:56.9. The 1:56.9, and again by, I believe that's Cameras, pushing into 9th place with the 1:57.2. So excellent effort from Telephones to get into the 1:58s here in the Mercedes-Benz. Answered accordingly by Jinfulf and Serra and Cameras. Having a quick look at the top there, Sergo still sits on top of the leaderboard with a 1:55.9. 1:55.9. Not yet improving much, but at the same time still able to hold a consistent time. We've got Jasper, who's moved up into 3rd place in the 223 Ferrari. As he works his way through Sector 1, now starting Sector 2, which involves the Mistral Straight. Couple of drivers up on the time at the moment. We've got Sarah and another driver there seem to have a bit of a yellow flag moment. However, we've got Tom Bryant in the Reiter, who's pushed up to 3rd place in the AM Championship with a 1:56.4. Absolutely phenomenal time in the Reiter. So we'll look forward to see what he can do in the race then, as now the Silver Championship have in fact been released, so we can see Skylar's still on a lap there, followed by, I believe it's JPEG Fox as well. Just have a quick look down the line. Actually, I might have got that wrong. That might actually be Grim. Yep, JPEG Fox is still out there, but he's not caught up in the others. We've got Slowbird just behind JPEG Fox there, the 7:59 of Hoot Wheels has come to a stop on track before returning to the pits. We've got a 43 of Ruby Kitsune stopping at the pits before coming back, and we've got JPEG Fox as well stopping after completing his final lap for the 1:58.9, going up to 14th place so far. The last car, I think, last 2 cars yet to complete their laps is the number 660 of Skylar, who's almost onto the 55. If she can just hold on, we'll see what she can do. She comes round into the final sector before the start finish straight. She's got a lot of silver drivers behind her, so once she does finish her lap, she is going to have to pull over relatively quickly and call it there. So she finishes on a 1:56.0. Got Danak just crossing the line as well on a 1:56.6. So no improvement from either car there, as both cars pull off to let the Silver Championship get to it. I believe that's all the AM drivers now in the grid after setting their times. So we've got Anka, who leads the Silver Championship in the BMW M4 so far. They've now all completed their outlap, so everything we're going to see now is a qualifying lap from the silver drivers. Unfortunately not Anka, as he's just gone invalid there. Shame to see it, but he's got a lot to think about now. So the next person to put in a qualifying lap is the 1:15 of Grimm, current silver championship for semi-first GT3 season. Down the Mistral straight he goes, slowly but surely climbing through those gears. 273 he's currently at the moment, and he makes it to 275 there before braking and just about making the corner. He's still valid though, he's nearly a second up on his time. Oh, little bit wide there, and unfortunately that is going to be invalid. Just behind them as well, we've got Nate just behind Grimm. Nate in the 131 Lamborghini Huracan, who's on a lap at the moment. Starting, well, nearly at the end, excuse me, of the final sector, being followed very closely by Suzuka. So let's see what Nate can do then. So Nate pushes in to P3 with a 1:57.4. Suzuka will take P2 in silver with a 1:56.0, and Nick will take P1 for the moment with a 1:55.2. Deeds has pushed into 4th place with a 57.9, and Dip is currently sat on a 58.4. Fantastic banker lap so far, but it is Nate at the moment who's nearly half a second quicker than his current time. Still being towed along by Suzuka, but that is an invalid one from Nate, according to PR's track limits. Just coming into the 3rd place actually of the Silver Championship is Eris with a 56.7. It's not quite made an improvement currently from what we can see on its delta so far, but nevertheless it is going to continue to put in a quick lap. 3rd place in silver is a good place for it to hold on to just now, but at the same time hopefully it can do better. My voice is beginning to go, excuse me. And there we see Eris going extremely wide there and invalidating a lap. It's currently following Deeds as well in the 757 Ferrari, who sits on a 57.9 and is currently 100th up. However, looking at times, we have this Jaguar, the 38 Jaguar of Dip. 1.6 seconds currently up on his time at the moment as he rounds the final corner. 1.7 seconds up. We see Dip on a 58.4 go all the way up to a 56.7. That's a phenomenal time from Dip, currently in P5 now of silver class, with Eris in P4, Suzuka in P3. Anchor is pushed all the way up to P2. But so far it is Nick sitting in P1 for silver in a 55.2 in the Mercedes-Benz 2020, the newer machinery compared to the one that Telephones in KM Academy is driving. Let's have a look, see where our current silver champion is. It's Grimm at the moment, yet to set a valid time, as he sets off down the Mistral straight again for another go at it. So far so good, approaching 600ths up on his current time, and the time is still building as well, so we could see, if Grimm keeps this pace up, we could see possibly a second gained on whatever time he set as an out lap, but the time is holding roughly at 800ths of a second now. 7, 6, 5, who's lost quite a bit of time coming into that sector there. You wouldn't expect it from a Porsche, but nevertheless it's going to be a good time either way. Still half a second up on his current time as he comes round the corner. He's going to do it. He's going to be nearly a second up on whatever time he set coming out. And he'll push all the way in to P3 in silver class as we hit the final 2 minutes before the pro class come out. So great lap from Grim, the current silver champion. Unable to answer to Nick at the moment. We've got Dip, who's holding on to 5th place as it is. Nate has managed to push into 6th place with a 156.6. Eris is currently on to improve on its 56.7. We'll see how much by once it finishes this lap. Any silvers not yet to set a lap? Nope, so all the silver class have now set a lap, getting mixed in with the AM class there quite a bit. It's also worth pointing out actually Hoot Wheels in the 759 managed to push into 3rd place in the AM Championship with a 156.4. Phenomenal effort from Hoot in the Mercedes-Benz 2020. But back to the silver class. Grim is unfortunately invalid with 56 seconds left on the time to go. If he can make it across the start-finish straight in that time, he will have time to complete another valid lap as the pros come out the pits. Could get a bit spicy. We'll see what happens. See what happens there. The rest of the silver class at the moment yet to improve on their time. A lot of invalids going on as they push harder and harder through the grid. 20 seconds left of Silver Champ qualifying. Anchor is going to get another lap in if he wants to. Grim will definitely get another lap in if he wants to. And Grim has in fact decided to call it a day. So Anchor then is left with a lot of space to breathe as the pro class come out of the pits then to complete their laps. It is Azure that'll get out first, followed by Lorda and Hemi Husky and Joker as they have a bit of a bump coming out the pits there. So slowly but surely the pro class begin to filter out of the pit lane. Be interesting to see what that what the old machinery of the Aston Martin V12 can do. We've got Nate currently. Oh, we've got Nate currently still out on a lap in the 131 Lamborghini Huracan. Speeds at 276. 277 that might have been before applying the brakes. In the final sector now is Nate. He's got the number 10 of Suzuka currently following him, who's on roughly to improve his lap. Dip has managed to push into P4 of silver class. And so far, Nate and Suzuka are both building on their time as they come round to the final sector of the start-finish straight. We've got Nate here, who's nearly half a second up on his current time. So that's going to be a 56 straight, although he's lost quite a bit of time there as he heads across the start-finish straight. Along with Suzuka. So Suzuka pushes into 4th and holds on to 4th for silver class and also the overall position. We've got Nate, who's in 6th place now, and they both return to the pits as we begin to see the pro class go out on their valid laps and set their times. We've got Azure Goat currently leads the pack on a valid lap at the moment, heading into the beginning of the end of sector 1, beginning of sector 2. Followed very closely by the 171 of Lorda in the V12 Aston Martin. And here we go then, Azure hits the Mistral straight. We'll see what top speed Azure can get up to as we head along the Mistral straight in the 765 McLaren 720. Oof, 277, possibly 278, as Azure comes into the sweeping right corner of Paul Ricard and into the final section of Sector 3. And here we go then, round the final corner comes Azure. Still on a valid lap so far. We've had a bit of an off from Tai Chi, I think. Hopefully he's okay. So Azure will now come in to P2 overall with a 1:54.8, but immediately seems to be improving on his time. So we'll check back in with Azure a little bit later to see if he can definitely improve on his time. Fez Fox takes P3 overall with a 1:55.1. So we've got Azure there on a 54.8. Jordan Daly comes in with a 54.7, taking the overall P1 position, answered immediately by Stewie, who comes in with a 54.3 in the Porsche. Two Porsches currently sit P1 and 2, pushing Azure and Fez down to P4 and 5 overall, with Nick in Silver Class sitting in P3 overall. Joker's managed to come in with a 55.3 in the number 62 Honda. And we've got Chris McNichol with a 56.1, currently sat in P12 overall. Saber Kitsune in the 523 Nissan GTR on a 1:56.4. Some great banker laps from the Pro class. Hopefully we can see some quicker times coming in from them. This is a car I wanted to check in on. This is a car I've heard that's had so much straight line speed on the Mistral straight that we're going to have to follow and see just exactly how quick it is on the Mistral straight. I'm told it hits gear 5 and then the turbo kicks in and really begins to push it along. It's Hemi Husky still half a second up on whichever time he's set, but he gets onto the Mistral straight now, and look at the climbing of that speed as he pushes as high as he can before hitting gear 6. And you can see from the Delta, the time is just building and building and building. 280 goes Hemi, 281 before bringing it back down to catch the corner. Currently 1.2 seconds up now on his outlap speed, or maybe it was his last invalid lap. I think that was phenomenal speeds to be getting up to from the BMW, older BMW M6. Into the final section now before he hits the start-finish straight. Currently nearly 1.2 seconds up on his previous time. We'll see what he can do coming into the start-finish straight now. 1.3 seconds up on his time. Hemi Husky comes in to P7 overall with a 55.2, so it's a great lap so far. Stewie still holds the fastest lap on a 54.3. Joker's managed to push up to P2 overall with a 54.4. Jordan Daly still sits in P3 with Azure in P4. Nick in the Silver Class is P5. With Fez Fox P6, Hemi holds P7 but is currently building. Ferox has come into P8 with a 55.2. Saber holds on to P9 so far with a 55.6. Current lap is invalid though, so he's got to go round again before he can get another chance at being quicker. The 48 of Snooty currently sat on a 1:55.6 and improving his time in the BMW M4, the newer BMW on the track compared to the M6. We'll see what Snooty can get up to as well. Probably not as quick as the M6 from what we've heard through the week, but quick either way. Down the Mistral Straight comes the 48 of Snooty McFlude in the yellow Tasers BMW M4 onto the sweeping right-hander now. About 275, 276 we saw him get up to there. Still valid. You can take as much as track limits will catch you out here at Paul Ricard. You can go quite wide on that bit there. Nowhere else though, it will completely and utterly penalise you, which is what we'll probably see through the race if some drivers push a little bit too hard. Snooty's currently half a second up on his time as he's in the last part of sector 3, but just ahead of him is Hemi Husky, who's 100th up on his current time. So here we go, Snooty comes across the line to pull off a 155.1, giving him P8 overall. Hemi Husky unable to push any higher for the moment. Azure Goat, however, has pushed into P1 with a 54.2. Here, pushing Stewie and Joker down. However, Stewie is on a current lap. He's definitely improving on his time as he heads down the Mistral Straight, just behind Chris McNichol, I believe that is, who sits currently 18th overall. So far so good from the 796, nearly 300ths up on his time. He's a little bit wide there, it's cost him a little bit, but he's kept it together so far. It's still a valid lap. Chris McNichol seems to have gone a little bit wide there, but does rejoin the track. Hopefully it doesn't impede Stewie too much, who is absolutely gaining time on him as we round the final sector, final few corners before coming onto the start-finish straight. Probably end up getting a nice toe on the start-finish straight, losing a little bit of time there after going a little bit wide as we come to the end of qualifying, and Stewie does push all the way back up to P1 with a 54.1. Absolutely phenomenal effort from Stewie in the 796 Porsche. And we come to the end of qualifying now. So a few drivers still out on a lap. We've got Azure sitting in P2 currently. Jordan Daly in the 197 Porsche still working to improve on his lap as he hits the Mistral Straight now. In the older machinery of the Aston Martin, we've got Lorda. Seems to be giving the Porsche a bit of a tow there. How easily that Porsche has gone round the Aston Martin is incredible, but he's now going to give the Aston Martin a good proper tow up the rest of that Mistral Straight. Hopefully, we'll see if Lorda can improve, but it doesn't seem to be the case, being 10 seconds down on his current time. It's a good help from the 197 of Jordan Daly, but it hasn't quite been enough there. A couple of the cars pulling over and calling it a day there. Number 62 of Joker stopped on the... Oh, no, he is back in the pits. The 197 and the 171 come into the pits. Close, but nevertheless, very safely done indeed. And so comes to the end of qualifying. We have Stewie in P1, Azure Goat will take P2, and Joker takes P3. And we shall return in just a few minutes for the start of the penultimate round, which is Paul Ricard Semi-Fair GT3 Season 4. Back in a moment. And here we are then with just under 30 seconds to go before we start the
20 seconds.
Before we start the rolling lap of Paul Ricard. Welcome to the
10
stream.
seconds.
If you've just joined us, this man here, Stewie, currently sits in P1 overall. It's his first race on semi-fair tonight. As we get going on Paul Ricard, everybody will slowly but surely filter away, eventually one by one, as they get the chance to leave. Currently got Jasper with his hazard lights on. Not sure what the idea is with that one, but hopefully it works out for him. The rest of the grid slowly but surely getting away nice and easily then, as we head round on a rolling lap led by the 796 Porsche of Stewie. Welcome to the chat, Paula. You joined just in time. So here we are then, rolling laps. Completed, all drivers head slowly but surely down the Mistral Straight. I should go getting alongside Stewie there. I wonder if that's a bit of an intimidation game going on there as they head all down the Mistral Straight. We've got the number 36 of Ferox in the pits for some reason. Unsure what happened there. Hopefully he's okay. As we head on to the 796, we certainly acknowledge the fact that you definitely should be having a rest, Paula. If you feel tired and not able to compete, we definitely encourage all drivers to take a break from doing this. The amount of practice some of these drivers have put into Paul Ricard. It's been more hours than I put into my working week job. So there we go. You see a couple of the cars choosing to weave in and out. Some of the cars will just be sticking to applying brakes though to warm up those tyres. Completely up to the driver at this point. Whatever makes it work for them. So we'll start to see the drivers now being told to line up in double file. And together they all come round the final couple of corners. Before heading on to the start-finish straight, all cars lined up 2 by 2 now. And very slowly but surely we will get that green flag and we will be at lights out for the penultimate round of the GT3 Championship. All to play for.
Go, go, go.
And away we go. Stewie gets away quite cleanly with Azure Goat, not losing any speed behind him. Sabre moves across behind Snooty McFluid. There, Lauder in the 171 Aston comes up, trying to take the inside as they lead into turn 1. It's very clean for Azure, and as they get in there, Joker manages to slip past Jordan Daly into P2. Nick and Azure and Nick and Fezfox have come together, collecting Lorda, collecting Tom, collecting Denak, collecting Suzuka, as well as we have an absolute major crash involving about 4 or 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars. 8 cars before finally getting going again. That is... And we have another contact there as well between Lorda and Denak. All cars are beginning to come to a halt. I wonder if a race restart has been called. There's the number 3 car in the pits. Who's the number 3? Yep, it's going to be a restart. There's been an absolute chaotic moment. But some of the cars are continuing on. Seems like the 796 has got away. A lot of the cars are continuing on, but a lot of the grid has come to a halt, thinking that there must be a restart in place. And there we go. We get the restart that has been called for. It took a minute to get through to some of the drivers there, but it got through at the end. So 3 minutes left. Some more time to get that car ready. Stewie and Azure get another chance at setting off for turn 1. They got away very cleanly. It seemed to be the middle or back of the grid that got caught up in the shenanigans. And for some reason, Ferox has not been returned to the position that he qualified in. He's at the back of the grid. Unsure why that may be. I'm pretty sure Ferox put in a qualifying lap. Never mind. So a minute and 50 seconds we count down to again before we go on to another rolling lap of Paul Ricard. Apologies for the little to no talk at the moment. I sort of covered everything in the first attempt of lap 1. Grab drinks, grab snacks, guys. You've got probably another 4 minutes before we actually go racing again. Apologies to the 8 of you that are currently watching the stream. Waiting for that second attempt at green flag and that one. I'm still unsure why Ferox ended up at the back of the grid. As I said, I'm pretty sure he put in a qualifying lap, but we didn't check that one, so that's my fault. Patiently waiting as we head again down the Mistral Straight towards our second attempt of the green flag. And round that sweeping corner of the Mistral Straight, eventually come the drivers again. At this point, they'll probably be asked to line up in 2x2 formation. So we'll watch from this camera then, as we head down again to turn 1. Green light coming any minute now.
Green light, go, go, go.
So there we go again for our second attempt at Paul Ricard. That one, Stewie gets away a lot cleaner this time round, and it looks like it's going to be Jordan Daly looking to go round Azure. It doesn't quite happen. There's contact there, and Stewie is sent wide along with Azure and Jordan Daly. Both cars come back out in the front of the grid. Joker is side by side with Azure. He does make the position up. It's allowed Stewie to get away quite easily though. We see Lorda pushing through the grid there, as most of the grid come through relatively together. It seems like Hemi Husky's yet to make up a place. Fez Fox and Studio Big Fluid go side by side, but Fez Fox gets out ahead there, leaving Anka behind, who's being chased by Grim Lilith in the Porsche and Saber Kitson in the 523 GTR. Tai Chi is possibly looking to make a move on the Mistral Straight, but a lot of the cars will be following one another. There's been another off towards the back of the grid. There's two cars there, that'd be Gig and apparently Skylar Vixen unable to make up positions. Hopefully we'll see what happens to them. Anyway, Stewie holding on to the lead there from Joker as they round the Mistral Straight corner for the first time as we go racing here at Paul Ricard. Then it is Stewie leading on from Joker, as we can see there, who leads on from Azure Goat in the 765 with Jordan Daly in the 197. They seem to be breaking away from the pack a little bit. Lorda in the 171 Aston Martin V12. holds on to 5th place and leads on from Nick and Hemi Husky, or rather Hemi Husky and Nick, excuse me. Nick looking to make an overtake there as he really closes the gap up there. He's also got Fez Fox to worry about in P8. Quite a lot going on towards the back of the grid as well. We've got Eris in P21. With about 4 cars racing each other, but there's a bit of a clump of people here as Deeds looks to defend from Jasper and Tom Bryan. Tom Bryan in the Ryder takes P23 smoothly into turn 1, leading on from Jasper in the Ferrari. Great move from Tom in the Ryder as he looks now to chase Deeds. And it seems like we've still got the top 3 as they are, but Joker will set the fastest lap apparently. Following down a little bit from these two, we've got Jin and Sarah. Oh, we've got a bit of an off from telephones. Needless to say though, Skylar Vixen has caught up to JPEG and now moves to take over for P34, excuse me. It seems like JPEG and Skylar and Slowberg go straight past ZZ in the 118 Porsche. JPEG also makes an attempt and cleanly gets by the 118 Porsche as well. The 18 Porsche, not the 118. I don't know what's going on there with ZZ, but nevertheless, that's 3 positions he's lost then. Skylar Vixen will now lead on from Slowbird in the Jaguar. Slowbird manages to hold on to the position as JPEG comes to a little bit of a stop before Slowbird can take the corner. It's allowed Skylar Vixen to move on and try to get round Ruby Kitsune, who moves to defend the outside line. Skylar will now be forced to take the outside line as Ruby gets in on the inside. Ever so closer does Skylar come to Ruby Kitsune as they head into the final bit of Sector 3. Slowbird's going to sit back and probably eat popcorn watching these two fight one another as Skylar Vixen goes round the outside of Ruby Kitsune before the final corner. Ruby Kitsune trying for the cutback, but it's unsuccessful. Slowbird and JPEG Fox have now definitely caught up to Ruby. Ruby moving to defend there. Looks like JPEG possibly might look for the inside line. Slowbird possibly looking for the outside line. And nevertheless, JPEG and Slowbird come almost side by side through there, and JPEG is the one that gets the advantage of that one. Denak just behind Slowbird is going to aim to push through now with ZZ, who catches up in the Porsche. As he's got a little bit more work to do than that. It's got to be the corners that the Porsche makes this happen, and he does make it happen, but he's forced to go wide as there is another car there that comes side by side, and it's Slowbird that'll get the advantage going on to the Mistral Straight. We'll see if Slowbird can hold on to that position as they head up the Mistral Straight. However, ZZ is now going to be getting a much needed tow as well. Certainly seems like Slowbird's holding on to that position for now as we head up towards the turn. But there we go. So Slowbird gets through cleanly, followed very closely by ZZ in the 1.8 Porsche as well. A bit of a slide coming from Slowbird there. It's allowed ZZ to hug the inside, cleanly getting through past Slowbird there. What a move by ZZ in the 18 Porsche there. So all he needs to do now is keep the corners going. JPEG's had a bit of an off as well, so that could potentially be ZZ's next target. As we battle here for P35. Slightly up ahead of the grid, we've got Wolfin, who's overtaken Sarah by a little bit as well for P27. They're being chased currently by Cameras just behind in the 97 Audi. Oh, and it's JPEG Fox as well, who has come into a bit of a battle with Ruby. He manages to successfully take the position going into turn 1. But Ruby's not giving up there. Oh, it's a little bit close, but she does get the car stopped in time. And these two are now beginning to run away from ZZ and Slowbird. We've got the number two of Telephones pulled into the grid. Unfortunately, he is a lap down currently. Unsure if he's coming back out or not, but hopefully he does. JPEG gets a very clean exit out that corner and is absolutely gone from Ruby Kitsune, folks. Look at the speed he got through that corner at. Absolutely phenomenal effort there, and it looks like ZZ as well is going to at some point challenge the McLaren of Ruby for the position. He's pulled out to make an attempt. It's not quite happened. That McLaren does hold on to the speed, and unfortunately ZZ's going to have to give up there. Slowbird has very much closed the gap to ZZ though, so hopefully Slowbird can get another chance at it again. Sarah here is possibly going to overtake Jinfilf. She's managed to overtake Wolfen. Jinfilf running along the inside of the track manages to rejoin relatively safely and try and get a cheeky place up on Sarah, and she's denied that by holding on there. Kammer squeezes through along with what looks like Wolfen is going to try and squeeze through his now, as again we get on to a very eventful start finish straight. Check the back of the grid here. It seems like Ruby still continues to lose time to JPEG Fox, as JPEG Fox now has a 1.8 gap over Ruby. Jinfilf and Wolfen have gone at it again. It seems like Jinfilf has somewhat kept the position. They've got Skylar breathing down their neck now. It's Wolfen that goes ahead into the chicane. Skylar very much closing the door and closing that gap to Jinfilf, as Jinfilf again looks to challenge Wolfen as they come onto the Mistral Straight. It's all to play for before the Mistral Straight as well, but it looks like Wolfen's got the edge so far, leaving the two Hondas to go at it then down the Mistral Straight. Skylar very quickly closing in on Jinfilf. She's clearly had the better exit coming onto the start finish, coming onto the Mistral Straight. Here she goes then. What way is she going to go? She's going to dip down the inside line. Jinfilf moves to the outside line, and we get Skylar coming in side by side to Jinfilf, and just about makes the overtake before they head into the sweeping corner there into sector 3. Telephones manages to leave the pits now as well. Seffi's run a little bit wide there, but hopefully she can gain that time back on Jinfilf, as Skylar and Wolfen have now made the point. It seems like Jasper and Sergel it seems like Jasper and Sergel were battling just there, but doesn't look like much of a battle. Oh, we've had an off from Ruby Kitsune, folks. She's collided with the wall just after the start finish, just after the Mistral Straight. That's allowed ZZ and Slowbird to get past. I'd like to point out here as well, just slightly back from the grid, Telephones has really managed to get his foot down and close that gap up to a lot of the drivers, so hopefully this is Telephones on a comeback race. A bit wide through there. I thought for a minute he was going to the pits there, but nevertheless, Cameras has moved to overtake Sarah for P25. Skylar Vixen gets the overtake done on Wolfen just before the chicane. It's a brave move to make, but she gets it done either way. Slightly further up the grid, we've got Jasper now beginning to chase Deeds for position number 22. They're not far off Tom Bryant in the number 3 Writer, who's not far off Lorda, Ferox, Hoot Wheels and Eris as well. We've got Ferox here in the GTR, possibly looking to get the straight line speed overtake on Hoot Wheels. Lorda's going to try and take charge of the tow, but decides not to. Ferox gets past Hoot Wheels easily. Lorda sweeps past Hoot Wheels easily, and the two of them come to challenge Eris, who goes straight into Denak, who's parked slap bang in the middle of the track. Nevertheless then, it seems like Ferox moves to challenge Tom Bryant for position number 20, Skylar Vixen, as well, has come to a stop. Denak has come to a stop but gets going again. Seems to be yet another major accident involving drivers. That now means Skylar here has got a long wait before she finally does manage to get the Honda going again. Absolute shame that is, if Skylar did get caught up in an incident, because she was going for a very good race. Denak has now gone off again and moves to come into the pits. And unsure what's happened to Denak there, but hopefully he comes back out to finish the race. Eris is getting overtaken by Jasper, it seems. It looked like Deeds was going to have a look, but didn't quite make it done. So it leaves Eris to battle Jasper for position 20. And both drivers will hopefully look at chasing Ferox, who sits in P19, just 0.3 seconds up the roads there. So we've got Jasper, who's held on to P20 and gets away from Eris, who's now left to defend off Deeds, Sergel, Cammers and Sarah for P21. Then you can see here Deeds is closing up big time, followed by Sergel. One's going to go left, one's going to go right, Sarah's going to go left, and unfortunately it's Eris that's lost out on the position in the Lexus there. That must be down to damage done on the Lexus. But just up there we've got Deeds run slightly wide. Sergel Sergel and Cammers get through. So it seems like Sergel and Cammers will go racing with Deeds very shortly behind. Geeg is moving to overtake Seffi, but Seffi's coming back up the inside line as they head into Sector 3. It's smooth indeed, but Geeg then goes for the cutback on the Seffi. He's got to take the outside line. He makes it work. Oh, he doesn't make it work. He goes slightly wide, and the two of them come together. They're coming through the corner. Not sure what was going on there, but now Seffi has position 28. Bit of argy-bargy going on down the grid there, but out on his own at the moment is JPEG, the number 120, whose next target to catch up is actually Geek, but he is safely 3 seconds ahead of Zizi at the moment, who's still now managed to get 3.6 seconds ahead of Slowbird, who's in a race of her own currently. We've got Denak sat in the pits. We hope Denak comes back out onto the track there. As Telephones moves through. Telephones has managed to make up some good time, I think. Oh no, sorry, no, I tell a lie. Telephones is actually 3 laps down on Denak at the moment, who does get the Jaguar, the number 54 Jaguar going again, which is great to see. Let's have a look slightly further up the grid. Grim has overtaken Jordan Daly for P7. The 115 moves swiftly into P7, but it looks like Daly's not giving up on it, and Saber Kitsune is a second behind both of them, looking to potentially make up positions. Meanwhile, being chased by a Honda and not able to have that gap closed is the 796 of Stewie, who's held on to P1. That Honda is slowly but surely closing the gap, and that is the 62 Honda of Joker. Fezfox has managed to take P86. Fezfox has managed to take P3 with Hemi in P4. And as you can see here, that Honda very slowly but surely closing up to the 796 of Stewie in the Porsche. Stewie doing a lot of work to keep that Honda ahead. He knows the corners of where it's at for the Porsche, but this Mistral straight is going to be the problem. As it seems, it's not a very good camera angle, as it seems that Joker in the Honda moves closer and closer and closer as they head down the Mistral straight. These camera angles, here we go. Joker goes for a move around the outside of Stewie, who holds on to the defending line. Very well held by Stewie, but Joker's not giving up there. There's More time to gain. Stewie runs a little bit wide. It looks like Joker will go for the inside move, but it doesn't happen. We're back into a territory now that the Porsche can gain an advantage, and that is corners, corners, corners. Before we get on to a start-finish straight. And as you can see there, through corners, Stewie begins to open a little bit of a gap, but Joker's not giving up there. Onto the start-finish straight they come, 6 seconds away from P3. That's Fez Fox, who leads from Hemi Husky and Newbie Nick. 0.4 second gap between that Honda and that Porsche. It's not quite closed yet, as again we head into more corners for Stewie's Porsche to gain an advantage on there. Joker constantly having a lot of work to do, it seems. We'll come back to them a bit later. It seems like Deeds is moving around the outside to try and take Cameras, but Cameras has held on to that inside line there, but ran extremely wide and allowed Deeds through in the 757 Ferrari. Just up ahead of them, we've got Jasper in the 223 Ferrari looking to challenge the 176 of Sergo, but Sergo is now, by this point, absolutely gone and away from the Ferrari. Slightly further up the grid, Hoot Wheels is holding on very nicely to P18. She is currently the highest running AM-class driver at the moment, and she's got Tom Bryant to fend off, who looks to close the gap in the writer of all cars. Very well indeed is Hoot Wheels doing as they get on to the Mistral straight. Hoot Wheels managing to open a 1 second gap up on Tom Bryant there. Look at her go. Just absolutely lost the writer on the Mistral straight now. It seems like Tom Bryant might have had a slightly bad exit coming onto the Mistral straight, but that doesn't matter. He's still holding a very good position indeed. Got Dip and Anka going toe to toe as well, and it's Dip goes for the inside. Anka just about managing to stick to Dip on the outside, but it is Dip ultimately that makes the position and looks to open the gap. Anka's got a driver to look out for now, as Ferox is slowly but surely beginning to breathe down both of their necks. Oh, and here we go. Ferox is patiently waiting in the number 36 GTR for these drivers to get their bit done so he can get his bit done. Oh, up the inside, cheekily goes Ferox. Oh my gosh, that makes it work. Can Anka make the cutback happen? Just about, but the two of them are now going to have a bit of a drag race coming into turn one. Anka at some point will have to move to defend the outside line, and Ferox moves to get a tow. He pulls out to take the inside of turn one from Anka. He gets it done very smoothly indeed, but Anka is not giving up easily. Oh, and Anka makes a mistake and Ferox gets the position anyway. There's something coming into play now, is the 20-minute pit window is now open, so we will end up seeing cars come into the pits. 40 minutes left of the race. As we can see there, Ferox has got the job done. He is leaving Anka behind, just slightly further back from them. Hoot Wheels is still holding on to a gap from Tom Bryant, but he has indeed closed that gap by 0.03 of a second. Tom Bryant really pushing that writer. Bryant, writer, pushing that writer. And it's working out for him this lap round, for him slowly but surely closing the gap on Hoot Wheels as they get towards the end into the long sweeping right-hander. We'll see if Hoot Wheels can still hold on to that gap. It seems like she has for now. See what's going on slightly back from here. We've got Cameras challenging Deeds now as we get into the last bit of Sector 3. Jasper very easily holding on to position there. Oh, Deeds goes a little bit wide. Cameras looks for the outside move and manages to run a little bit wide, allowing Dietz to hold on for the inside. Jasper's run a little bit wide there, so he'll be panicking. That's a long time to stay off the track for Paul Ricard. That wouldn't surprise me if that's going to be a track cut warning for Jasper. It's not worked out in favour for him, because now Dietz is moving to overtake. Here is any one of them going to look into the pits, and it's Dietz that dives into the pits first. Also got Chris McNichol stopped in the pits. Jordan Daly comes into the pits. Dip is in the pits. And as we've seen there, Dietz comes into the pits, getting an early pit stop done to try and get a jump on later drivers. So we'll see if that works out for either of them. And meanwhile, up the grids, Joker has managed to overtake Stewie for P1. Then, but Stewie is not letting go anytime soon. I doubt we'll see any of these drivers make a pit stop anytime soon, as there's such a close battle going on. We might potentially see some drivers from the back of the grid pit to avoid most of the traffic coming through now, but nevertheless it's Joker that leads on from Stewie in the 62 Honda NSX. Great racing from these two so far. Stewie's closed up that gap, but he's got a start-finish straight to worry about as Joker pulls away up to half a second distance in that Honda now. Coming into turn one, Dietz comes out of the pits very cautiously. Manages to get out very cleanly as some of the grid are now beginning to catch him up. You can see there Fez Fox is about 2 seconds away from Dietz. Then so anyway, Joker leading on from Stewie by over half a second with Fez Fox 5 seconds behind. Hemi Husky's a second behind Fez Fox. But it'd be interesting to see how much Hemi can close that gap up with the straight line speed of the BMW M6. Oh, Fez Fox goes nicely round Dietz there. Seems like Hemi Husky moves in briefly to get a bit of a slingshot from Dietz. It's still not quite worked out as Fez keeps that McLaren well and truly ahead of Hemi. In fact, even managed to open the gap up a little bit more now as well. Got Nick who's 4 seconds behind these two in P5. Not seen any other drivers come into the pits yet. We're down to 36 drivers in total. Let's see, we've got Slowbird there chasing Jordan Daly. I believe Jordan Daly's just entered the pits though, so he's made a position back there. Slowbird in a race of her own again. Ruby Kitsune is 14 seconds off. With her next target a second and a half away, which will be Seffi in the 222 Aston Martin. There, you've got to feel it for some of these drivers. They're in a race that's probably at this point just over half hour to go, and probably a little bit boring for them. They've got no one to race in front of them, no one to race behind them. Obviously Jordan Daly is going to make his way through that grid eventually. You can see Seffi pushing as hard as she can to catch up to the Porsche, but Zizi is holding on to the Porsche quite easily. We've got corners now for Zizi, and we all know that's where the Porsche makes up the time. Chris McNichol gets safely by Ruby Kitsune Fox on the start finish, the Mistral straight, excuse me. And here we have Grim and Saber Kitsune coming into the pits. Or sorry, rather just leaving the pits. Jordan Daly safely gets round Seffi for position. And we've got Ruby Kitsune Fox coming into the pits from P30. If she gets this right, she could potentially get out ahead of JPEG, who's in P32 at the moment. We'll see what happens. The time's counting down. JPEG is getting slowly but surely onto the last bit of the start-finish straight. Ruby's yet to get moving. Tai Chi comes into the... Oh, no. Yep, no. Tai Chi comes into the pits. JPEG Fox is on the start-finish straight now. Anka has a little bit of a skid there. And JPEG Fox and Skylar do get the move done. Ruby's still unfortunately sat in the pits there, so that was a much longer pit stop than she probably anticipated. Sergel comes into the pits now. Got cameras on a bit of a... Cameras in the pits along with Sergel. Tai Chi is also in the pits as well, allowing some of these drivers to make up positions. Stewie's just got past Joker, just off the Mistral straight there. That is a hell of an overtake to get done. But needless to say, he's got it done. But Joker again comes to close the position up. Excuse me a minute, folks. And I'm back there, sorry. Joker again comes to get the position back. He's holding on to it very much so. 11 minutes left of the pit window. Neither car decides to pit at the moment, and it is currently Stewie that leads from Joker. Slightly further back on the grid, we've got Hemi Husky now challenging Fez Fox. Getting into turn one. Look at the gap closed between Hemi and Fez Fox there. Fez Fox will be trying his absolute hardest to get that McLaren away from the M6 before the M6 can use that all-important straight line speed. Just behind them as well, we've got Nick, who's now beginning to be challenged by Snooty in the 48 BMW M4. Seems like Fez has managed to safely get away from Hemi, but Hemi has now engaged what seems to be the hyperdrive of the BMW M6. You can see it there. It's slowly but surely closing the gap. There's less than a second between them as the halfway mark is called, and it doesn't quite happen. Coming onto the Mistral straight as well is the 131 of Nate in P31. Nope, the 131 of Nate in P8. Being challenged by the number 10 of Suzuka in P9, both in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. Seems like Suzuka had a bit of a better corner there, but there is still a 0.4 second gap. It is closing slowly but surely. To come into the corner there, Suzuka not able to make it happen on the start-finish straight. Seems like Ferox has managed to push all the way up to P10 as well, and it seems like Joker has overtaken Stewie for position there, so Stewie comes into the pits from P1, followed by that one. Oh, there's been not a yellow flag at all. A couple of drivers entering the pits there. It seems like Hemi Husky's entered the pits as well after chasing Fez Fox. Got Nate and Suzuka still very much engaged in a battle, but Nate is coming into the pits, along with Ferox as well coming into the pits after pushing all the way up to P10. Phenomenal effort from Ferox from the back of the grid up to P10 in the Nissan GTR. Anka comes into the pits as well. Got 8 minutes left of the pit window, so a lot of cars pitting together now. Still got Joker, Fez and Snooty yet to make a pit stop. Sarah has unfortunately been awarded with a drive-through penalty, probably for speeding in the pit lane, I imagine. But in these late stages of the race, we could end up seeing drivers being penalised for track cut warnings as well. So we'll soon see what that is. Track cut warnings can end up being a drive-through penalty, which has also been given to Dip there in the 38 Jaguar. Oof. Meanwhile, slightly further back on the grid, we've got two Porsches going at it. JPEG Fox has held on to P30 for now. But Zizi is looking to try and make it back. Obviously, these Porsches will be evenly matched on the Mistral Straight. Slowbird pits from P24. She's done well to climb up that high. Hopefully she can stay relatively high up. There, JPEG Fox and ZZ get smoothly through that sweeping right-hand corner, but ZZ has indeed closed the gap. You can see JPEG Fox goes a little bit wide, but covers the inside defending line and the outside defending line, allowing himself a lot of space to work there, a bit wide from both the Porsches there as ZZ follows JPEG through the corner. Bit of a clever move from JPEG then. It's allowed him to keep the position and gain a bit of a gap. Slightly further back on the grid, we've got Seffi beginning to lock horns with Eris in the 141 Lexus. Seffi holds on to the inside. It seems like Eris tried to make the outside move work, but it didn't quite happen. Neither car coming into the pits at the moment, or maybe they pitted already. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so both cars have actually pitted already, so they are free to go racing as the 759 of Hoot Wheels unfortunately gets a drive-through for speeding in the pits. Absolute shame for Hoot Wheels there, so not only has she still got to serve a pit stop, but she will have to serve a drive-through currently as well. Slightly further back on the grid, we've got these two going toe to toe as we get on to the Mistral Straight. Seffi holding on to P31 at the moment, but Eris very quickly closing that gap in the older machinery of the Lexus. You can see it here now. Just look at the straight line speeds on Eris as it goes round the outside of Seffi. Seffi looks like she'll pull in there just behind Eris to take the corner nice and easily. Wonder if Seffi can pull it back though, but Eris has indeed got that overtake done. It goes a little bit wide there as Seffi follows through a little bit cleaner. But needless to say there, Eris has indeed got the move done in the 141 Lexus. As I said as well, both drivers have pitted now, so they are free to go racing. There's nothing for them to worry about other than the race between them. They're both going to have to move over for traffic in a minute. There will be Hemi Husky. He'll be looking to make his way through to catch Fez Fox. Seffi coming into the pits again? No, she's not. So there we go. Hemi gets safely by Seffi then, as they go into turn one together. And maybe Seffi can hold on to the toe from the BMW and use it to get past Eris, who's slightly up ahead. Seems like Hemi has also completed his pit stop, so Stewie, who's in P4 at the moment, has got a lot of work to do as Grim takes over Hoot Wheels, who I believe has just completed her drive-through, but still unfortunately has a mandatory pit stop to complete within 3 minutes. So hopefully Hoot Wheels is here. Now there's a yellow flag from Fez Fox as he comes into the pits. Oh, that was That was almost exciting there, but no, it is Fez Fox coming into the pits from P1, which means, oh, if he times it properly and he gets this pit stop done, that's a long pit stop for Fez Fox. Joker is 40 seconds behind as Fez Fox comes to a stop. It'll be very close between these two. Joker is in sector 3 at the moment, pushing as hard as he can to get on to the start-finish straight before Fez Fox gets rolling. Here we go, Joker is on the start-finish straight now. Fez Fox is still yet to get moving. Where's Joker? There he is then, so Fez Fox just gets moving as Joker comes out the pits. Hemi Husky goes cleanly past there as well. And we've got Eris leading on from Stewie. Stewie will be looking to move up in traffic later, but it seems that Joker has got the overtake done and now has traffic to deal with from ZZ and JPEG, who are also battling at it with one another. Good move from ZZ there as he moves slightly to the outside, but not enough to lose too much of a position. Hoot Wheels again comes into the pits to serve her mandatory pit stop with a minute and a half left of the pit window. Got Joker here currently sat on her fastest lap of a 1:54.6. So safely around JPEG goes Joker, and it looks like ZZ as well almost goes to take the inside line but doesn't quite make it happen. Good race going on from these two. JPEG doing extremely well to hold on to P28 out of 36 cars. ZZ possibly looking at the inside, but JPEG defending it off very nicely indeed. Got blue flags coming up now for ZZ, and that will be Hemi Husky there trying desperately to get through traffic along with Fez Fox to catch up to Joker, who's building up now 4.2 seconds there. So ZZ moves out the way to let Hemi Husky through. Gets it nice and safely done before turn 1. Easy there, so the next person to let through now will be Fez, who leads on from Stewie, who's a second and a half off and closing the gap very quickly. Pit window is now closed, so any drivers not. Whoa, that was a hell of an overtake from Fez Fox there. Had to slam the brakes on before getting to JPEG. Stewie gets through rather safely. Fez Fox on a bit of a red mist mission maybe, as he chases Hemi, who gets onto the Mistral straight and opens up the power of that BMW as he chases Joker in the 62 Honda. Got a yellow flag for telephones, but he has managed to get going again. Geeg as well, beginning to close the gap up to Gin Filth there. Some good defensive driving going on there from Gin Filth, but they're going to have to get out the way pretty quickly as they've got the 62 Honda of Joker coming through any minute now. The gate goes slightly wide there and lets Joker safely through. And it seems as well Jin will be coming up on Denak, who is sadly a lap down after suffering from major contact earlier in the race. 20 minutes left of the race to go. very safely by, goes Joker around Jinfilth. Geeks caught up a little bit there. Let's see if there's any more like racing going on. There seems to be a bit of racing going on between Hoot Wheels, Dip and Wolfen. Seems like the main race going on at the moment will be between Wolfen and Dip and Hoot Wheels. Dip going a little bit wide there. You can see Hoot Wheels just at the bottom of your screen. She had a very clean exit on that corner. We'll see what she can do leading up to this sector here. Seems like Wolfen had a bit of a mistake there. It's allowed Dip to close up the gap. Oh, that was a relatively close move got done on Wolfen from Dip. Hoot Wheels taking advantage of the toe there. Almost looking at going 3 wide with both of those drivers, but she made the better decision. Hoot Wheels holds on to the position even though Wolfen closes up the gap quite quickly. But nevertheless, unfortunately, Wolfen has lost out there. There's been an off from 2 cars. It's JPEG and ZZ that have had an off. I'm wondering if that was due to the 2 of them racing. They're going to have to wait a minute for traffic to come through before getting racing again. JPEG gets going and ZZ gets going. They're going to have to now end up moving for Ferox whilst concentrating on this race. Oof, oh dear. Back up the further of the grid, it seems like Geek's got Jinfilth there, but Hemi Husky and Fezfox are looking to again get through the gap. Jinfilth goes safely wide as these two go toe to toe coming onto the Mistral straight. The McLaren really holding on to the BMW M6. Hemi Husky just about holding on there. But it seems like Fez has closed the gap ever so much. They move to overtake. I believe that's Sergo. Nope, it's not. It's Geeks. Nearly contact between Fez and Hemi there. And as they all the cars end up being being bunched up together again by Fez's braking as he moves to chase Hemi. And it seems like ZZ did indeed get the move done again on JPEG Fox. Not sure what happened there. There was quite a significant gap from JPEG to ZZ, but nevertheless it's now ZZ that's got the job done. They're moving nice and cleanly out the way for Stewie. But still continuing to open a gap up to Jinfilth, which is always good to see. Jinfilth making a bit of a mistake behind him there, went a little bit too wide and caught those sausage curbs. Had a bit of an off from Deeds, but he does manage to get the car going again. Jasper has seen an opportunity there. Look at him go for it. Up the inside. Sheepishly Jasper goes. He does catch that line though. Deeds is going to have to work to get that position back, but it was a very good line from Jasper. Very good overtake that Jasper got done there. Fantastic opportunity taken as well, and Jasper moves into P20 from P21. Two Ferraris going at it here then as Jasper looks to take defending moves. Deeds moving to try and take it back as they come into turn 1. Deeds closes the gap up nice and easily there, but Jasper gets a very good exit on turn 1, allowing him to open that gap back up again. Not sure what's going on there, but Jasper is certainly finding all the gaps in the world, all the time in the world away from Deeds as he gets onto the Mistral Straight now. Nearly a second splits these two cars. Last 12 minutes left of the race to go. Fez Fox has now unfortunately been given a drive-through, probably for track cuts. He's going to have to serve that at some point, allowing Hemi Husky to keep hold of P2. Again, these two get onto the Mistral Straight, and you can see just from the camera that Hemi Husky has just launched into space with that BMW M6. Got Jordan Daly as well beginning to catch up to Grimm here. Apart from Jordan Daly catching up in P8, Grimm's very nicely managed to hold on to P7 in the Porsche, having a bit of a quiet race so far it seems. Nevertheless though, here comes Jordan Daly closing that gap. Oh, we've got a bit of a battle beginning to go on between Sabre in the 523 GTR and Lorda in the 171 Aston Martin V12. Lorda really pushing that V12, and Fez Fox comes in to serve his drive-through penalty from P4. Sorry, that would have been P3, excuse me. So there we go then, Fez Fox comes out all the way down in P10. Sabre and Lorda continue to get closer and closer coming into the chicane. If it's not done here, it looks like it will certainly be done on the Mistral Straight between these two. Sabre's holding on for now, but as here we go then, we get on to the Mistral Straight between the relatively old machinery of the GTR and the old machinery of the V12 Aston. You can see there the speed advantage Lorda's gaining in the V12 Aston. Sabre looks to take the inside defending line. Lorda forced to go around the outside line. He can't quite make that outside line work. They come into the corner together. Oof, and it's Lorda that goes round the outside of Sabre. Coming off the Mistral Straight, and Sabre unable to keep hold of that position. Meanwhile, just slightly behind them, Fez Fox in P10 has a little bit of traffic to deal with, but is not far behind Sabre. Manages to negotiate his way round Derris. And just behind them as well, we've got Jordan Daly and Grimm almost going at it with one another, but needless to say, we've got Fez Fox down here. 5 seconds off Sabre Kitsune now. And we've got Jordan Daly, who's 0.8 seconds, 0.8 of a second away. Nate and Suzuka have continued this battle, although Suzuka now leads from Nate, getting into the last 8 minutes of this race. Suzuka currently holding on to P3 in silver class. I believe the two drivers there get safely past Seffi. Yep, safely past Seffi there, but it's allowed Nate now to close the gap to Suzuka as they come round that corner into the final sector of Sector 3. Nate possibly looking at making the inside line work. Suzuka holding on for now, holding on to that inside line to defend turn 1. Closer and closer comes Nate to Suzuka there. Oh, bit of a wiggle from Suzuka. It's allowed Nate to close the gap even more. Slightly further up the grid as well, we've got a battle going on between Jordan Daly and Grimm. Seems like Jordan Daly's got the move done. At the moment, Nate and Suzuka go side by side. Nate is the one that gets the position coming off the Mistral straight. Great overtake from Nate, bit wiggly there from Suzuka as he comes out the corner, but it's Nate that achieves P13 and now P3 in silver class overall. In terms of battles going on through this track, apart from the one we've got here between Jordan Daly and Grimm, and now Nick as well is getting involved in the mix, so these two racing very hard with one another. They've caught Nick up by quite a margin. So we've got this battle going on here between Jordan Daly and Grimm. We've also got a close battle going on here between Nate and Suzuka. Looking further down the grid, there seems to be quite a few gaps to people. So Skylar Vixen is sat in 25th, 5 seconds behind Wolfen, 9 seconds ahead of Geek as well. Eris in P28 is 16 seconds off of Jin, and it's got Sarah 3 seconds behind. Sarah there is obviously 7 seconds now behind Eris, but has Slowbird 6 seconds behind. Sefi is going to be overtaken by cleanly by Anka there, coming off the Mistral Straight. They got that done quite easily. She's being chased by Zizi, but Zizi's 15 seconds off and only really just started the Mistral Straight. Ruby Kitsune Fox is in P33, 27 seconds ahead of JPEG, who's in P34. Bit of an off from Gig there, but needless to say, nothing really to worry about. And all the way up at the top, 10 seconds ahead of P2 is Joker in the 62 Honda NSX, moving to go around Dip now in the Jaguar. As we get into the final 2 minutes of the race, the 62 Honda sweeps cleanly past the 38 of Dip. Dip currently sat in P23. Hoot Wheels up ahead there is beginning to go into battle with Deeds. And they work to get round Ruby Kitsune Fox there as well. Ruby looking to take a little bit of a toll from Hoot Wheels as she continues to chase Deeds for P21. Telephone sadly comes in from P36.
Right, man, leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
Oh, bit of an off from Jin there, but Ferox gets cleanly past. Worth pointing out here as well, Ferox has gone from the back of the grids an hour ago to P12 in the number 36 GTR. Really making that GTR work for him. Phenomenal driving from Ferox, including pit stops as well. We're on the last minute of the race. Grim is going toe to toe with Nick as they start their final lap. They've got Lauder and Jordan Daly beginning to get involved there as well. It's Grim that's going to lead into turn one. Lauder squeezes into that next position. Nick, no choice but to give up there. Jordan Daly now very close behind. Very close behind Nick, probably looking to get it done on the Mistral Straight. Speaking of the Mistral Straight, our current race leader, Joker, is on his final lap before the end of this race. It seems like the gap's opened out a little bit more then, so we've got Grim who's easily taken advantage of that little mini race. He chases Snooty up ahead. Lauder now leads on from Nick, who's now being chased by Jordan Daly. Jordan Daly obviously having a better corner as they get onto the Mistral Straight. Here he goes round the outside of Nick on the Mistral Straight, and he gets it done. Nick tucks in quite nicely. But here is Jordan Daly going to go again, and he goes again on Lauder. 2 cars on the Mistral Straight. That is a phenomenal overtake from Jordan Daly on the Mistral Straight as they lead into the final sector. Speaking of final sectors, here is your winner
The leader has finished the race.
of round 5. I've been saying round 4 all race, haven't I? Nope, this is round 5, the penultimate round, and it is Joker in the number 62 Honda that takes P1. Hemi Husky comes home in P2. Stewie manages to climb all the way back up to P3, and it's Snooty that will follow rounds to take P4. Grim managed to push all the way up to P5. Jordan Daly makes it to P6, just ahead of Lauder in P7. Nick takes home P8, Saber Kitsune takes home P9, and Fez Fox comes home to take P10. Tai Chi managed to push all the way up to take P11, and Ferox held on to P12. Nate managed to make P13. Chris McNichol has just literally overtaken Suzuka for P14. What a shame for Suzuka, losing out in the final seconds of that race. Anka comes home in P16. Tom Bryant in the number 3 Ricer has had a brilliant race today, taking home P1 in the AM class. Excuse me. And here we have Sergo as well, bringing home P2 in AM class, P17 overall in the 176 Ferrari, so he does hold on to his lead at the moment. Next person to come home in P3 for the AM Championship is Cammers in the 97 Audi, having a very quiet race it seems towards the final stages of the race. Deeds brings it home for P19 overall. Hoot Wheels managed to hold on to P4 in the end. A phenomenal effort from Hoot Wheels. Phenomenal effort from Hoot Wheels there. And finally, in position 20, parked up in the pits now, is Jasper Fox. Not Jasper Fox, Jasper Emby. My apologies. And that is your round 5. Your penultimate round, which has been GT3 Season 4 Round 5, which is Paul Ricard. And that brings us to the end of the evening as well. Thank you to everyone that's joined in for the whole session, from the start of the 1 hour practice through our half-hour qualifying into this very interesting 1 hour race that had to be restarted once. Going forward from this, we hope that all the racers indeed had a great time. Tonight. Excuse me, my microphone cut off there. Going on from this, we hope the racers had a great time tonight. And we hope the ones that did get caught out for an instant have a bit of a learning opportunity, it seems. But for me, thank you very much, everyone, for watching and tuning in tonight. And we will see you for our final round and my personal final commentary round for Simufer at round 6, which will be at Indianapolis. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in and watching. Good night.